Hey guys, been a while. Thank you guys, all of you that have reached out to me in Discord asking if I'm all right. A lot of you have found out about that I had an accident, all that good stuff. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for asking. And I've also gotten a lot of requests, and one of the more common requests I've gotten have been how to teleport somebody. And people have actually asked for like all these different ways of teleporting. They wanted like a projectile teleport, like what you see in Overwatch. With I can't think of her name. She's the hacker character. I cannot think of her name right now. But yeah, there's that type of you shoot out a projectile and teleport. We'll do something like that in another video. But basically, like all these different teleport ideas gave me this idea to make a series of how to teleport. They basically all end up being the same concept, so I'm going to teach the very basic concept of teleportation here. I am going to add a little bit of fluff and prettiness to the end of it, so if you don't want to stick around for that, I will let you know when the prettiness will happen, and then you can dip out at that point. But before you dip out, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All three of them will help this channel out immensely. So yeah, without further ado, let's see what we're going to be getting today. So basically, I have a nice little disc on the floor. I have another one over there. If I run up to this disc, press E, it will teleport me and move my camera and make it all pretty and whatnot. Got a nice particle effect, poof, and we're in. That's pretty much it. I'm going to lengthen this for just a second. Let's go 2 seconds on that and make that look a little bit prettier. Hold on, let's see. That still looks like crap. All right, but it works. So let me show you guys how we did that. I'm gonna get rid of all this code and jump right into it. Okay, I think I deleted everything. Let's hope. All right, I could have just made a new project, I know, but there's fun in that. Anyways, I'm going to come in here to our content browser, sorry, and then right click on the content folder, create a new folder. I'm just going to call this one teleport. And inside of that folder, I'm going to go to blueprints right here, and we're going to get a new blueprint interface. I'm actually going to call this one use underscore interface. So that way, I mean, if you wanted to use this for multiple things, you could. The concept works really, really well. For those of you that don't know what an interface is, I'm gonna give you a really fast rundown. But basically, it's a really lightweight, nice way of talking to multiple different objects that all have the same common concept for their functionality. Like a pickup, you would walk over, press E to use it. The use functionality of that would be to pick it up. In this case, walking on top of a teleporter, you press E, the use functionality will be to teleport. So in here, I'm just gonna make this new function. I'm going to call it try use. Basically, we're gonna try to use it. Maybe there's some situations where we can't use it, so that's why I'm just calling it try. With the input, in this case, all I really need is the actor input, but you could add more inputs later on if there are things that you see you need more of for your use case, right? So for this, I'm going to call it actor. I'll look for actor object type, and I'm going to get the object reference. Okay, that's all we need to do in here. So we can close out of this, right click in here, go to blueprint class, actor. I'm going to call this BP underscore basic underscore teleporter. The reason I'm calling it basic is because by the end of the series, we should have a whole nice slew of teleporters in here. All right, so inside of here, and if for those of you don't realize, I'm using 5.1.1. I do have starter content turned on. So if you're like, hey, you didn't tell me what to do to start up the engine, that's where I'm at. I'm just trying to speed things up a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna get a static mesh. All right, this will be a shape cylinder. I like to use this one because it has the pivot point at the bottom. Pivot point at the bottom means that I can just drag it into the world and it's automatically sitting on the floor. So that's really nice. That's why I like using that. On here, I'm going to take the Z-axis on the scale and set it to 0.025. That's a nice skinny disc. All right, that sounded, I'm not, okay. All right. Anyways, moving on. We're going to get a capsule collision. I like to use this because it is cylindrical, so we can use this as a nice collision for our, find out when somebody's overlapping it. Sorry, yeah, it's 2:30 in the morning. My brain's not working all that great. So I'm gonna make this about as big as I'd want. So the player is, I think, around 100 centimeters in height. Set that to 100, and then we set this to about 50, which should be what the circumference of this guy is. Then I can just lower this down. Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of underlap, I guess you could say. You could raise this up if you wanted to where it sits like this. Yeah, actually that'd probably be fine. Yeah, you know what, let's leave it. I like it. So with that, we actually aren't going to use any overlappy events with it. I just needed that so that we can know when we are overlapping it. But in here, we're going to go and grab class settings. We are going to go to our implemented interfaces and try to implement that teleport. Oh no, I called it use. See, in my version, I called it teleport interface, but this is the use interface, so I think that would be better. So the use interface, and over here under interfaces, you might have it closed up. So just hit the arrow, double click on it, and we'll pop in a new event, try use in. And from here, we can do all of the functionality we'd want to use if this item was to be used, right? So another item would have the same thing, it'd have the same function, and it would be able to do its own code. So in this case, basically what we want to do is, there's two different ways of doing this really. We could do set actor location based off of the actor that we are sending through. Whatever actor is saying, hey, I want to use you, which in our case would be the third person character. And then we can just have a location, which would be a reference point, which we can go ahead and make that really quick actually. So go over here to variables. This would be the destination underscore reference is what I like to call them. And this would be of type basic teleporter. We go up here and get an object reference of the basic teleporter. Hit this little eyeball or up here, either way, to make it instance editable. If this guy does exist, which a nice way of doing that is right clicking, convert to validated get. We can then plug this in on the is valid. So if it does exist, then what we can do, actually I'm gonna move this kind of up like this, this down like this. Yeah, that looks nice. All right. We're gonna get the location that we want to teleport to. And actually, in order to make that, let's go back to the viewport and let's select our capsule here and just add an arrow component. So we also want to get the rotation. That way, when we place this, we can figure out about where this thing is going to be looking. Sorry, I had to fix that. It was really squished. So if yours are squished, let's set the Z value to 1. But yeah, if we can see which way this guy's looking based off of this arrow component. So that way we can get the arrow component, get arrow. And if you can't find it, anything that has arrow in quotations here, we can just click on it and delete the excess. There we go. That's sometimes just faster, in my opinion. All right, so we can pull off of here and say get world transform. We want this guy. We're gonna split this pin, and then Oh, actually, I wanted the location and rotation. Actually, you know what? Like I said, there's two ways of doing this. This is one, setting actor location, or you could use the set actor location and rotation one, or so I guess three ways technically, but or we can pull off of here and say teleport. And there's a nice transformation function called teleport that we can use. And we plug it in, and all we do is input a destination location and rotation. We don't need the scale because we don't want to squish our player if the other object is for some reason scaled big or small or whatever, right? So that is the very basic concept of what we need to do inside of this blueprint to get you teleporting. So now we just need to know when they are trying to use it. So we're gonna go to our third person character, open it up, and over here on the side, I'm just going to right click, type IA_use, which we haven't made that yet. So before we get into that, we gotta go make it. So under my third person blueprint, or third person folder, sorry, I have an input folder. Inside of here, we can go into actions, and then we can right click, go to inputs, input action, IA_use is what I'm gonna call it. Open it up, and we're going to add a new trigger of type pressed. So basically whenever we press it, it only fires once, it doesn't fire multiple times. Okay, we can close that, and then we need to go back to our input folder, and right here we have this IMC default. Open that up. I'm going to add a new event. I'm going to click on the keyboard, a new mapping, sorry. Click on the keyboard, press E, because that's the key I want to use. And then I can find my input action that I wanted to use right here. So now whenever we press E, it'll call this input action use and find out whatever particulates, like this one uses the press trigger. All right, so back over here now, I should be able to right click and then type in IA use. And at the top here, we have an enhanced action event. Get the first one, and we'll be using the triggered. But whenever this is triggered, we want to get overlapping actors. I'm going to go ahead and say the class filter will be a type actor. And we can say for each loop with break. That way when we find the first one that we're standing on, we can just stop looking and do whatever we need to do with it. So we're going to ask, does this thing that we found implement the interface of type use? So our use interface. Okay, B for branch. Let's B and left click because you're a branch. And then we can pull off of here and say try, whoops, can't spell, try use. Get the message version. There's a nice little envelope here. And this is going to send a message to this actor saying, hey, we want to use you. Now that actor is going to ask, okay, well, what actor is trying to use me? So we can say ourself. That way we can use this self thing to say, hey, I want to put the third person character over there. Right? When that's done, we can wrap back around, hit break. That way we stop looking because we've already found what we needed to find. Okay, that should be it. Now we put some of these in the world. Go back up to my teleport folder, put one here. We can put another one over here and rotate it. Go. And then we need to set these guys up. So this one that I have selected, we'll click this little eyedropper. We want it to teleport. Just click an eyedropper, teleport to that. And this one, we want it to teleport to this. Now hit play, step onto the disc, press E, and poof, we're there. That is the very basic concept of teleporting done right there. So if that's all you wanted, go away. But make sure to like, comment, and subscribe first. Now, if you want some prettiness, like the whole particle effect concept, I'm not going to show you how to make a particle effect. That's not what I do. But I'm going to show you where to implement that at and how to move the camera to where we have that whole effect in the beginning. So if you're wanting to know how to do that, stick around and I'll show you. All right, so back in our blueprint for teleporting, we can move this guy kind of out of the way. And so as soon as we find out that the destination does actually exist, we want to go ahead and start doing all the prettiness. So we can spawn an emitter, at location, and I'm going to use the explosion because it comes with the starter content and it's a nice placeholder for whatever you guys want to use. Maybe you got a Star Trek thing going on that you got, I don't know. You do, share it. I want to know. I want to see it. Jump in the Discord, show me what you guys make with this stuff. Yeah, that'll work. All right, just trying to get these lines out of the way, because trust me, later on when you're trying to figure out what the heck does what, and actually sometimes if you have light colored lines, sometimes I have them, like one will go up, the other one will go down, and it just makes things easier. All right, so we want to spawn it at a location, and what we can do for this is we can just get our arrow and say get world location, there we go, and just plug that in right there. So that spawns. Then we could have like a nice delay. Ooh, actually, we want to do our blend target really quick. So I'm going to set this delay for 2.5 seconds. Okay, because I want to set my blend target movement for 2 seconds. All right, so what we're going to do is right click and say get player controller. And now if you're doing this for multiplayer, you would want to find out which player controller to do this to. You could probably do that off of this and say get controller, maybe. Yeah, get instigator controller. And there you go. You can do it I don't know if that 100% work. It just depends on how you guys have your multiplayer stuff set up. All right. Anyways, for this, we pull off of here and we're going to say set view target with blend. Plug this guy in. And I'm going to say 2 seconds for the blend time. And plug in that right there. So the big thing that we're looking for here is the new view target. And in order to have a new view target, we need something that has like a camera to send it to. So it would be the other actor version of this. So what we can do is in here, add a camera. Okay. And then just kind of move it to the side, rotate it, look back at it, raise it up a good bit, and then set it down. I'm going to set this to world so that it's easier to move. There we go. All right. So then we just get the other actor, so our destination reference. So we can actually pull off of this guy right here that's going above us. Plug in there. Just make this come out further this way. And maybe even plug this in down here so it's a little bit easier to read. All right. So whenever that happens, after we've, about half a second after we've done the move the camera, we even probably want to set our character to be invisible. So we're going to grab thing off of our character, because remember this came from the actor. So we'll pull off of here and we'll say set actor hidden in game, basically making it look like it vanished. And we probably want to do that before this. So hold on, we're going to move this slightly down, move this back here, plug this in here. Sorry, get my order of operations a little bit mixed up. And then clean up our lines. There we go. So we're going to set the actor to be hidden true. Okay. And then whenever we come out of the teleport, so this is after we move the player, we're just going to do everything again. So we will spawn an emitter, but this time we don't want it to be off of the arrow on our first one. We want it to be off of the arrow on our destination. So we pull off of our destination here, and actually, we have the arrow location right here. So we can just plug that in over there. There we go. Okay. And then we want to set the view target with blend again. Oh, we also want to make the character not invisible. So I'm going to copy this guy down here, paste it, pull off of here, reroute this around, and set hidden to false. Plug in here, and then set our new view target. We'll pull off of that and say get player pawn. All right, and yeah, 2 seconds sounds good for that too. So let's see how that looks. We hit play, we hit E, and if you don't like the time and all that, change your blend times and your delays, however you want to do that. So if maybe we don't like that this camera on this one is pointing from the side here, what we can do is with it selected, we can scroll down here, find the camera, and move it around using this nice viewport. On the side here, we can just rotate this, pull it back. And if you want to do any camera settings, maybe you want the field of view to be kind of in a little bit zoomed in on it. There you go. Save, hit play, and see how that looks instead. So there you go. That is how to make a camera, or not a camera, a teleporter with a camera and pretty explosion, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Show me what you guys have been working on in the Discord. Link will be in the description below. And I'll have another video out next week.